Changing your oil is an absolute breeze, and there's some big benefits to doing it yourself. A lot of garages, they'll use subpar oils, subpar filters nowadays in order to save a bit of money. If we do it ourselves, we can choose exactly what products we want to use on our own car. And if you've got the mindset of someone, I can't do that, not in a million years could I work on my own car, watch this video and you'll be shocked at how much of a doddle this is. Then you can go off and do it for yourself. So this job requires 0 dogs, but if your life looks a bit like mine, you're gonna get one like it or not. First thing, we need something to catch the oil. Now I use one of these big drums because you can catch the oil quite conveniently, seal it back up and then take it to get disposed of. Don't just dump it into a basin, because then what you're gonna do with that basin? A little filler like this is ideal, stop you getting oil all over the engine bay. And then the next thing we're gonna need is something to lift the car. Now these are really convenient. Now that is just a standard set of ramps. We can drive the car up onto them. We don't need to worry about jacking it up. But if you don't have a set of those, then you can use the jack. Now your jack might look a bit like this, a trolley jack, or perhaps you're using the one in the boot of the car. Either's fine. But the main thing is you want to be using a jack stand as well. You want to have a couple jack stands under there so we're not just relying on the jack itself, because these can and do fail from time to time. We're then going to need a fairly standard socket set, no power tools here, and as you can see, basic hand tools. The other thing that I like to have on hand, breaker bar like this. Doesn't need to be absolutely huge, but just if that sump plug is needing a little bit more persuasion, this is really good because it lets us get a bit more leverage on it. This isn't strictly required, but a torque wrench, a small torque wrench to allow us to put the sump plug to the correct torque value, although you can just seal it up and give it an extra little turn. I'll show you that when the time comes, and we've got all the oil drained out. Now the other thing that you're gonna want on hand is a new filter, so we can replace it. Now I just got this one from Honda. There are cheaper options, but these are quality. I've used them tons of times before. They're not overly expensive. You can just get that from the main dealer. And on our sump plug that we'll remove and drain the old oil out of, you're gonna have a little crush washer, looks like this. Now, a lot of people reuse these. I don't think it's worth it, honestly, because more often than not, they'll wind up leaking at some point. So just get yourself a new washer. For all the time it takes, and if you're down at Honda picking up a filter anyway, good time to get it. And then the final piece of the puzzle, something to take that old oil filter off. Now this is one such tool. Basically it wraps around the filter and it allows us to get a bit of leverage to yank it off. They're meant to be hand tight, but more often than not, they aren't. They're on there really quite tight. So make sure we've got something. And there's a few different options. I'll put them up on screen now. You get little cups that'll do this. You get what's basically a big set of pliers. So whatever's available to you should work for this job. Oh, and almost missed the most important point, the obligatory cup of coffee, or tea if you prefer. Now the last thing we need to get here is the oil itself. What? Now before you go shopping for oil, there's 2 things that you need to know. Number 1, what grade of oil is it that your car requires? So is it a 5W30? Is it a 10W40? You're going to find this in the handbook. It'll tell you. You'll also find people talking about it and probably arguing about it online, or you can ask the manufacturer directly, what grade of oil does my car require? The second thing that you're going to need before you go off and pick up the oil is how much of it do we require? What is the quantity needed? And again, the handbook or the manufacturer will give you this as well. Most cars, I know this car takes about 3.5 litres, so a big 5 litre tub like this is going to be more than enough. In terms of where you can get the oil, there's loads of places you can order from online, get it delivered to the house, or somewhere like this. For those of us that have been buying oil for years, it might seem obvious that you can hop down to Halfords and get it, but for someone who's never done this before, you just don't know. So Halfords is one place. So there's going to be tons of choice, right? Normally what I'll tend to do, have a look at some of the bigger brands and determine who's got a bit of a deal going on. It looks like we're getting 5 litres of Castrol Edge at the moment for about £50. And the other thing you can do as well, if you've got access to a trade card or if you're entitled to one, use it and you'll get a bit of money off as well. So this is what you don't want to do. We'll jack the car up or put it on ramps first. Enzo, excuse me. can start to see why a set of ramps is so convenient, because look at all this height that we've got, and we didn't need to mess around with jacks or jack stands or anything like that. Even although it's a set of ramps, I still make a point of going over, give the car a bit of a shake, and make sure it is nice and steady. So now, time to clamber under. Not so elegant, but let me show you what I'm seeing. So here's the front of the car, front subframe. Also gives you a good chance to get a bit of a look at the condition of your car as well, in terms of corrosion and rust and so on. So if we move back, what we'll see here is this is the engine side here. You remember what I was saying about people sometimes use old washers over again? Yeah, it kind of looks like that's been the case here. It's been a little bit wet. So I've got the engine side, and it's actually so clearly marked out, engine oil, and it points to it, couldn't be simpler. And over on this side, we've got the gearbox. Now obviously we're not touching any of that right now. It's all focused on this. Okay, so it turns out it was a 17 mil. I was close. And it's feeling really quite tight actually. So I'm gonna go for that breaker bar. I could probably force it with this, but there's more chance of me slipping or it suddenly jumping and I'd skin my knuckles. So let's just go for the bigger bar. So now I've got the bigger bar on here, you'll see a big difference. So as I just start to apply a bit onto the end of it, I send my bucket flying, but it comes loose. And there we go, that easy. The trick that I'll tend to do here is remove the threads, if you can work it out, pretty much all the way, but hold the bolt in place. And then that gives you a bit of control over when the flow is going to begin. Now, so it will drain really quite quickly. Bear in mind you might need to adjust your bucket a little bit there, just to make sure you try and catch it all. And we want to leave this for a good, well, at least another 5-10 minutes. Drain out as much of that old oil as possible before we start getting the new stuff in there. Whilst that's draining, just having a look at the washer that came off it, and I can see multiple sealing rings on it, which suggests that's been used multiple times. So definitely getting rid of that. And we've got our nice new one. Obviously a good idea to make sure it fits and clean everything up. But the good thing about Hondas is it wouldn't really matter if we were working on a Civic or a CR-V or whatever it happens to be. They use a lot of the same parts. It's a generic part. So this should fit like a glove. I'm going to pop this back in. And the reason that we do that is so that we can crack on with the oil filter. So on this particular car, the oil filter is up above the sump here. So we place it back in. We don't need to torque it down or anything at this point. Just pop it back in so that we're not getting dripped on. Let's just give it a little try by hand. Might need to reposition a bit here. Oh, and there we go. So with our new filter, good practice with these is to fill them with oil and put a bit around the seal as well. The problem for us is it slots onto the engine, as you've seen, like that. If we do that, we're just going to end up pouring the oil back over ourselves. So what we'll do is put a little bit of oil inside, a little bit around the seal, and then slot it into place. If yours just goes straight on, straight vertical like that, then yes, you can fill it up. So get it nice and flat on the thread, and then we're just twisting it back into place. And remember, we're not going to use any tools or anything to tighten this up. It's just going to be hand tight. Give it a good old twist in place. That's that. So now we want to tighten up our sump plug. Two ways of going about this. As I say, if you've got a torque wrench like this, you can have a look in the owner's manual. You can find it in forums again, the correct torque that this is meant to be at, which is the ideal. So on this car, it's 44 Newton meters. So this little torque wrench goes that low. If you've got a big one for doing wheels and that kind of thing, it probably won't go as low as that. You're going to need a smaller one. Now, alternatively, what you can do is basically just tighten it up until it's nice and tight and give it an extra little nip. If you don't have one of these, that's generally okay to do. But if you've got a torque wrench, that's the way to go. There we go. So with our new filter on, sump plug back in, it's time to fill it up. So finding where the oil goes, really easy. There's the cap there. Remove it, simple. Determining how much oil to put in, that's a little bit more complicated. Let me tell you what I mean. So in your oil container, which we drained our oil into, some of these have got a measurement on the side. Now if yours does, you're in luck, because that'll tell you exactly how much came out, so we know exactly how much to put back in. I have no such luck. This doesn't have a measurement on it. So what we do is we basically add litre by litre, checking on the dipstick as we go until we get to a good level. Then we can start the car, get it off the ramp and measure it on a level surface. So let's do that. So we've just added slightly under 3 litres at this point, and I'm not too sure if the camera's picking that up, but it's right around half between minimum and maximum, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to start it up, move it down off the ramps now. An idea before we do that, just have one quick final check, make sure nothing's started to leak, maybe even have a quick look up at that filter. Just where we've drained the filter, you can see it looks a little bit wet, but nothing's actively dripping. So by letting it run for those 30 seconds or so, it gets the oil circulating as well, because remember that oil filter that we put on was completely empty, so that and all the other nooks and crannies are going to start to fill up. So inevitably our level will have dropped, but we'll give it a couple of minutes, and now that it's on level ground, we can check it again. What you don't want to do is overfill it with oil. Overfilling an engine with oil is as harmful as underfilling it with oil. So if that's the case, we're going to need to pull that sump plug out or remove it through the dipstick. It's just added work. So just take your time and keep checking the level. So the level's now about 3/4 of the way between the low and high markers. So I'm going to start it up, let it get up to temperature, and then we'll check it one last time. And there we have it, folks. I've tried my best to address everything so there's no questions, but if there are if there are questions, drop them in the comments section below. Last thing I was going to add to this video is if you are in the market for a slightly older car that you can maintain yourself, Vehicle Score offer 20% off all their HPI checks to viewers of this channel. I'll add a link for this in the description below. Please do make use of it. It'll tell you if that car's got a hidden past. But as ever, thank you so much for watching. Please do hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if this has been useful, and I'll see you in a few days' time. Cheers.